Hey, welcome back to my channel, and today we'll be learning about equation of a straight line. Again, this kind of looks like an Algebra 1 topic, but again, we'll be going through Algebra 1 geometry and Algebra 2 trig topics, so that way we know what's going on. And this topic might seem really easy, so let's go through this. And for this, again, we have Andrew Mancini, one of our local boys who's been just doing great and has been helping me with these videos. Yeah, welcome, Andrew Mancini.
Thank you. A question for you. In a few videos past, we gave you some wisdom as far as that things are in fact impossible. My first question here that I'm going to leave you a bit of wisdom to is, if you think back to maybe 7th grade geometry, isn't every line a straight line? As much as your 7th grade teacher might have thought that, according to the International Baccalaureate Organization, there are such things as curved lines. Even if that goes against everything every other teacher has taught you, we must trust IB here. So we're not solving for curved lines here, we're solving for the equation of a straight line.
Alright, so this is the equation that we'll be using to graph a straight line, y equals mx plus b. In this case, we always got to remember that m equals the slope and b equals the y-intercept. What do I mean by that? When x equals 0, this is the value, this is the y value. An example problem for this one would be y equal 2x plus 4. And Andrew will show us how we should graph this and what is the slope, where is the x-intercept, where is the y-intercept.
Thankfully, as you can see here, your teacher or our teacher has provided us with this very handy-dandy, well-drawn graph that we can just take it on. Just kidding. In this case, we'll assume that we already have a graph like this provided. If you have to draw on your own graph, one tip is to make sure that your axes are labeled. Because even if you draw this entire graph correctly, based on what they give you, if you haven't labeled that this is x and this is y and that 0 is here, and at least labeled a few points on both axes, then your teacher will not give you full credit. Jumping back in this problem, the first thing we want to do is start with the y-intercept. What we know from this, as Dev said, is 4 is the value when x equals 0. So we'll start by plotting 1 point here. Just going to draw a few more points here. Perfect, which you can see in the video. Once we have this y-intercept, then we have to turn to the slope. And as we know from the definition of a slope, that's the rise, which is the change in the y distance over the change in the x distance. If we have 2, we could write that as 2 over 1, meaning for every x value by 1 that we're moving, we'll have to go up by 2. Or in this case, down by 2 if we're going to the left. So from 4, we can go down 2 and over 1 to the left, follow that same pattern down to 0, over 1 to the left. At this point, we have enough, and if our graph is drawn correctly, we should be able to draw a straight line connecting through these points. Make sure to draw 2 arrows on the end, because this graph or this equation isn't just going through these 3 points, it's going on for infinity. And then if your teacher is particular, you can write out the equation again to show, particularly if you're graphing multiple lines, that is the graph of y equals 2x plus 4.
Yep, and here we found the x-intercept and the y-intercept. I mean, we already knew the y-intercept by looking at the equation. So always got to remember, if whatever the b value is, that's your y-intercept. And x value, you got to find it. You just got to plug it in, just take it down as much as you can. When it touches the x-axis, that's your x-intercept right there. And yep, generally this was an easy topic, but thank you for watching. And yep, please like and subscribe.
And for those of you perfectionists who get upset when you miss a single half point on your test, if, let's say, your teacher takes off a point, you can go back and say, well, actually, I solved for the x-intercept, so maybe I should get extra credit to ensure that I have 100% in the class.
Oh, yes.
Just a pro tip.
Yep, extra credit is really important.